Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the last session where we recapped, we stated that we are having a bit of a problem with the cross-section of these arguments in as far as they are trying to prove God as a separate entity distinct from the world and a transcendent being which cannot sufficiently and reasonably be proven by these arguments. Now, philosophically, what have the later philosophers amongst the Muslims done in order to resolve this problem? Now, if you remember, we introduced Sadra's thought, and we also stated the sources of Sadra and where he got that thought from. We looked at Farabi, we looked at Ibn Sina, we looked at ShArifTawheed8, and we saw how Sadra synthesized their philosophical principles and then tried to resolve the whole puzzle of creator and created. Now I'd like to, for a few moments, just go back to those founding sort of principles of Sadrian thought, and from there then try and arrive at a more sort of a convincing argument for the existence of God and the nature of God. If you remember, Farabi and others, they hinted at the notion of simplicity. So if you derive the existence of a necessary being as the first cause, and you say, well, the first cause, by the fact that it is uncaused, should not have a duality between essence and existence. And if it doesn't have any duality of essence and existence, then it means it's a non-restricted or unrestricted existence. It doesn't have any boundaries. What sets me and you apart from other aspects of this world are our parameters and boundaries. The fact that I can conceive Musa as opposed to Fahim does not mean that one is non-existent. It means that one's existence is in a particular way as opposed to another. This particular way of existence we call existential limitations, or we call the essence. So existences, when they appear in distinct ways, we can conceive of them. But together with that comes their contingency, because it's matter and form, for example. For them to come in that limited way show that they need a cause for themselves to come in that way. If we can imagine a first cause, the first thing we deny from the first cause is contingency. By denial of contingency, we are denying limitation. Yes? So therefore, if we arrive at the notion of a first cause, we will have to say, well, that first cause has to be all existence. It can't be limited at all. Now, if it is all existence, then we can't conceive of it either, because the mind conceives in limitations. We conceive in categories, genuses, species, individuals, categories, so on and so forth. That's what the mind does. We can't really truly conceive of endless existence. It can only be a vague idea within the mind, and it can never ever be conceived. So that's the first thing we arrive at, that if there is a first cause, then it's unlimited existence. But then that poses a huge problem. If it is unlimited existence, then where do we place the world? Do bear in mind, if there is existence, it's a first cause, and it's nothing but existence, there is no limitation or essence. Yes? Or as the philosopher says, essence is its existence, i.e. there's no compoundness in it. Then where do we place the world? This is the big problem that we will have. So on the one hand, you've got the transcendence of this first cause. Transcendence in the sense that we can't conceive of it. Yes? Maybe there's, as the Sufis say, we can intuit it from the heart to feel this existence. But where do you place the world? That's a big, huge problem. Now, we add a second component to this, what ShArifTawheed8 had said. ShArifTawheed8 had made a real connection between the first cause and the world, in which he likened God and the world as the same thing, with the likened it to the light, to the nature of light, in which it's the same thing. God is light upon light, the world is no less light. Yes? What distinguishes God from the world, therefore? What distinguishes God from the world is the intensity and the weakness of light. Yes? It's not light and the addition of darkness, because there is nothing but light, according to ShArifTawheed8. So God is light of lights. The world is nonetheless, it's no less light. However, it's weak light. And through its weakness, it's distinguished from God. So on the one hand, you're getting this idea of unlimited existence of the first cause. On the other hand, with this notion of light and gradation of light, you're getting a real connection between God and the world. Can you see that? God is light of all lights, unrestricted light. And the world is restricted light. But we are still facing this problem. Well, how are we to now reconcile, given these two principles of unlimited existence and one flow of existence, how are we to reconcile a real world with an endless God? Are we to say that actually there is nothing but God, and that the world is an expression of God? Is this what we mean? That if God is unlimited existence, then there are no boundaries. It's all embracing. It's all embracing. And on the other hand, you have the world. So where do you place the world? We invoke ShArifTawheed8 here, obviously, the whole scheme of gradation of light. So here we are saying, well, even then, either we deny the existence of the world, or we admit to the existence of the world as an aspect of God. Otherwise we have no way out of this. We are having no way out from here, this scenario. It's a very sticky situation. Here then we invoke Sadra for further components, which can then maybe give us an overall understanding. Sadra replaces the whole notion of light with existence. It's an easy jump that you can make. It says, well, look, there is nothing but existence. There is nothing but existence. So it's a gradation of existence as opposed to the gradation of light. It's just replacing one with the other. God is all-embracing existence. The world is no less existent. Yes? However, the distinction between God and the world is as much as there is intensity in one, there is weakness in another. Just like a single light that is shot from a bulb, as it distances itself from the source, it fades away. Yet it is nothing other than light. There is no light plus something. It is nothing but light. So what he does is he replaces light with existence. Then he says, there is nothing but the fundamentality of existence. One of the problems that he had with the illuminationist philosophers, which we won't concern ourselves. What he then says is that there is unity of existence. It's same existence. He is now challenging the peripatetics here. The peripatetics said, well, God is existent, the world is existent, but there are two different things. When you say God is existent, it's different. When you say the world is an existent, it's different. Sadra contends against this. And he states, well, no. How can it be different existence? Give me another meaning for existence. We can't. He said, are you saying existence as different in its objective reality, or are you saying existence different notionally? He said, as far as notional existence is concerned, you have no more than one concept of existence, which contrasts the concept of non-existence. If the notion of non-existence is one, then its opposite or its contrast, which is existence, has to be one notion. So the notion of existence is one, so you can't conceive of different notions of existences. It has to be one existence. We say, well, what about the objective world? Isn't existence different? We will say, well, how is it different? The only difference that you can envisage is in terms of completion and deficiency. Yes? In terms of intensity and weakness. So it is one existence. Here he is looking at Ibn Arabi, who talked of unity of being, unity of existence.